Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ramos. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to sew this overburst corset blouse. In my previous video I already showed you guys how to draft the pattern. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to join all the pieces together, how to cage your overburst corset blouse. So it's something that interests me, definitely keep on watching. So let's move right into this tutorial. For this tutorial, you'll be needing 1.5 yards of ankara fabric, air stain, wadding to pattern the bustier. So it's a light wadding and it's very soft, and also fiber to cover your boning gauging. I'll also be using this type of boning. This 1/2 inches boning, I'll be using it to boning the bodies of the fabric and also the lining. This 1/4 inch to cage the bustier, and plastic boning for the back eyelets. So let's continue. So guys, I went ahead, I cut my pattern on the fabric, but before then I already had my interfaces to the fabric and also the lining, and add the stitches allowance to all the places I have not added the stitches allowance to. So after that I'm going to remove the pattern from the fabric and separate the lining from the fabric. So I'm going to keep the lining aside and work with the fabric first, because we have a lot to do on the lining. So I'm going to start pinning it together before I took it to the machine and stitches together. So guys, after I'm done pinning the front, I will also do the same thing to the back. But for the back panel, I'm going to pin the lining and also the fabric and took it to the machine with the front panel and stitches together. So guys, after I'm done joining the front panel together, this is what it's looking like. You can see the cup area, see how cuppy it is, and this also the back with the lining. After I'm done stitching it, I went ahead, I ironed my stitches allowance open. I did the same thing for the front. I notched the underbust area before I start ironing it. But the cup area, you are going to use a bust ham to iron the cup area, notch on the bust line, iron your stitch allowance open. You can see what the inside is looking like. The next thing to do now is to cut the wadding for the bustier before we start caging it. But I don't want my wadding to be in 3 pieces, I want it to be in 2 pieces. Because of that, I'm going to join the side pattern together first. Just use my solid tip to tape it together first before I start cutting out the wadding for the bustier. As I was saying from the beginning of the videos, I'm using a light wadding to pattern the bustier. It's a very light wadding and soft. But if you have a wadding, you can use your stain, just cutting it 3 times or 4 times, just make it a little bit thick, and place this together on the lining before you use your iron to gum it together to the lining. And the reason why I'm using my pattern to cut out the wadding is because I don't want to add the stitches allowance to the wadding. Just cut exactly what is on the paper you can see that when I'm cutting it, the side stitch allowance is not included, and also I curve out, like just curve it a little bit on the side to give it a curve on the side. So after I'm done with that, I also paint the lining together, the side lining together, and took it to the machine and stitch it before I place my wadding on top before I use my iron to gum it to the lining. So guys, after I'm done use my iron to gum the wadding to the lining, the next thing to do now is to paint the panel together before I took it to the machine to go and stitch it. After I'm done stitching it, this is what it's looking like. I also went ahead, I ironed my stitches allowance open, notched the underbust line. I also went ahead, I marked my boning lines before I start gauging it. So I'm going to show you guys behind the scene of how I gauge my bustier. This is the type of the boning that I'll be using for the bust gauging. So guys, let's move to the sewing parts. To sew the cuff area, you need to pull out one string, just pull it out a little, cut it out. The body will be more flexible and easy to sew the cuff area, especially the neckline and also the round underbust line. So I will do it on the neckline and also the round underbust line. So just pull it out a little, cut it out. The boning is easy to control. To sew the neckline, I don't know if what I'm saying here is making sense, but I will assume that you guys understand what I'm trying to explain here. Just pay attention to what I'm doing and I think that you guys understand what I'm trying to explain here. I will also do the same thing that I did for the neckline. Just pull one string out of the boning a little, cut it out. The boning is be more easy and more flexible to control to sew the cuff area. So guys, this is what it's looking like after I'm done gauging it. So the next thing to do now is to go to the iron board and cover it with the fiber. I first of all place the hemming gum before I place my fiber on top, and use the fiber to cover the gauging, and make sure that the fiber do not cover your stitches allowance. So guys, after I use the fiber to cover the gauging, this is what it's looking like. I also went ahead, I saw the boning on the lines of the joining inside. I also did the same thing for the back, as you can see. So on the center back here, I leave half inches before I sew the two bonings. You can see that there's no space between that two bonings. So when I'm fixing my eyelet is going to be on top of the boning. This will allow your eyelet to be more stable, so when you are pulling the rope snatching your waist, your eyelet will not remove. After that, I'm going to join the sides of the lining and also the fabric together. So guys, I've done join the sides of the lining and also the fabric together, and this is what it's looking like. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to create my boning lines. So I'm going to roll out a straight line on the center front. So I'll start from there, roll the second one and the third line. So the remaining boning lines is going to be all the joinings that I have on the fabric. I went ahead, I cut out a fabric about 1.5 inches, so I'm going to use it to cover my boning. So I'm going to place the boning inside the fabric. So after placing inside fabric, I'm going to sew it. After sew it down, I'm going to trim out the sewing allowance, flip it down and sew on top of it. And make sure that when you are first of all sewing your first stitches, you do not sew it on top of the boning. So this is the sample that I'm sewing it. So after I first of all sew it, I'm going to flip it down, sew it on top. So after sew it on top, I also sew it on the second side. And this is what everything is looking like after I'm done sewing everything. So the next thing to do now is to turn in the neckline. So I'm going to turn in the neckline and also the center back, and leave the hemline, back line and the hemlines below. So I'm going to use the fabric to pipe it. So guys, after I'm done sewing it, I went ahead, I turned in my neckline and ironing it. So after ironing it, this is what it's looking like. So on the other bust line there, you need to break your boning to give you this kind of shape. Just look at the way I'm doing it. And for the side boning, you need to also break it on the waistline. But when you're ironing this one, you need to put your bust arm under it before you iron it. You break the boning on the waistline. Don't iron it flat from the waistline down to the hemline. On the center back lines there, I went ahead, I sewed down a straight stitches to the hemline. So I'm using the straight line that I created on the center back to pass in my plastic pony. So for the hemline side, I use a fabric to pipe in the neckline and the armhole lines. So I've already sewed down the fabric head from the wrong side. I'm going to trim out the excess of stitches allowance. So after I'm done trimming out the stitches allowance, I'm going to flip it to the right side and sew it down. So this is how I did it. I fold in the edges, fold the fabric into two, and sew it from the wrong side. So after sewing for the wrong side, I'm going to trim out the excess, flip it to the right side, and stitch it down. So guys, after I'm done with that, this is what it's looking like. I also went ahead, I fixed my eyelets with my back cover. So I have about 8 inches for the width, and for the length I remove 1 inch for the length that I have on the back. So guys, if you end of today's tutorial, don't forget to click down the subscription button and if you haven't subscribed, like, comment and share, and also don't forget to ring a notification bell so that I posted a new video, you'll be notified. See you guys in my next video. Bye.